Well, good afternoon, Bryan College Station. I'm Stephen Whitaker from the Eagle. I'm here with Aggie graduate Laney Krogh, who just recently, or I guess has a book coming out March 27th.
Yes.
So, Laney, thanks for being here with us.
Thanks for having me.
And just kind of tell us a little bit about your book. And I guess if you want to start with your story also.
Yeah. So, my name is Laney Krogh. I am from Cypress, Texas. I was an Aggie from 2020, 2024, still an Aggie. My parents were both Aggies. My brother is an Aggie. My great-grandfather was an Aggie, so it definitely has been in our blood. And then I wrote this book when I was in high school, kind of. It was around COVID time, so I finally had some time to work on it. And it finally was edited all through college, and now it's a real thing, which is so surreal.
Yeah. So what was that, I guess, like for you, like when did you start writing? Was this the first thing you ever wrote, or have you been writing your whole life?
Yeah, so my mom was an English teacher, a second grade English teacher, and so over the summers she would have my brother and I do these little like workbook packets. You know, it had the cursive, it had the math, and then something else she always added, and I think this was because she was an English teacher, was to just have us free write or free draw. She really wanted us to be creative, and so I would always write my own books. I gave every member of my family books for all of the holidays. I would write little books for them, little stories. They weren't any good. My mom told me this morning that my first official book, which I didn't know about, was Laney Goes to the Zoo. I don't remember that one, but it probably is not published worthy. But yeah, so I've been writing books forever. But as far as novels go, I've always started a chapter or two and then just kind of left it because I had so many ideas. So I've got a flash drive with like 50 different single chapter ideas for stories.
As a writer, I'm the same way.
Yeah.
So
my family would always get so mad at me about that. Like, this is so good, why don't you continue it? But this is the first one that I've ever actually, had been so passionate about the idea and forced myself, like, okay, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to finish this one. And it took me a while, but it's here, and then I have a sequel and a prequel and spin-offs that I'm working on as well.
That answers one of my questions. Was it going to be a standalone, or is this going to be a series?
Yeah, so this, the sequel to this and the prequel are already complete.
Okay.
And then I'm working on a couple of spin-offs as well, and I just sent my publisher the sequel last week, so hopefully that one will be
moving fast
in the works as well. Yeah.
So you've been writing for a long time. As a writer also, reading is a big part of the process. So who are some of your favorite writers to read?
Well, J.K. Rowling, Harry Potter was, pivotal. I love Rick Riordan's stuff. I liked the Kane Chronicles, I think it was called, Percy Jackson, all that kind of stuff. But my mom always read to us. We have just tons and tons of books from Junie B. Jones to my brother is really into classics now, so he has tons of Charles Dickens and
Faulkner.
Yes. There's some guy that I don't know how to pronounce his name, but he'd be so mad at me for not saying it right. Like Odyssey is one of them. He reads. He has like a whole list.
I know who you're talking
like
about.
Something it ends with like a Kovsky, I think. Tchaikovsky.
Tchaikovsky was classical music.
Was he? Okay. Yeah.
But no, it was an author that did that, but it's one of those names that you don't want to butcher on video.
Yes, but here we are. So
yeah.
But yeah, so there's just lots of literature around. But yeah, probably my favorite classic book though is Tale of Two Cities. That's my favorite classic. Yeah.
Best of times, worst of times.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I guess with this book, what was your inspiration to kind of? You mentioned you had other books that you started, and so what was it about this one that led you to finish it?
Yeah, so I got the idea for this book based off of a dream that I had where I was like flying over open water and you could just like, it was so vivid to me. I could like smell the salt water, feel like the wind in my hair. And so I wrote that, and that actually is a scene in the epilogue. And then from there I kind of just started thinking about, well, how could this be real? Because I've always wanted, like if the teachers in class ever asked, what would you want your superpower to be? It's always been flying for me.
Yeah.
So I've always I was thinking, how can I make this a real thing? What would be realistic for a person to be able to fly? And I was thinking, fairies, they have wings, but they're not, traditionally people would not think of them as being like a person, and so then I was like, okay, well, in my story they are going to be like people, and we'll mix in something else, so we'll mix in warlocks, and then I created this new species called the Were-Fae, which is warlocks and fairies. And from there I was thinking, okay, well, I can really do something with this is something new. I even did research for, has anybody done anything like this, and it's not, because I made it up. So that was just a really cool thing.
There you go. You've created a new character or a new species of character.
Basically, yes.
So it comes out March 27th. What does it feel like? I mean, you have the copy there, and physical, but now you're going to be having people knocking on your door saying, hey, where can I get a copy? So what's that feeling like?
It's so surreal. And I mean, in this day and age now, I'm trying to do the whole social media thing to promote it, and there is a lot of interest, and I think I've just been shocked by that people have said, this is something I'm really interested in, this is something that seems right up my alley, and it's very rewarding, but at the same time, I had never written this with a plan to publish it. Being a writer was always kind of my dream job, but I majored in health in college. I have a medical coding job. I mean, I was planning for other things. This just kind of happened, and so it's very surreal. I mean, like I said, I got the idea from a dream, so literally dreams coming true right here.
So I guess a little bit more about the book. Where's the book set?
So the main character, Summer, she's from Florida, from Rosemary Beach, and she moves with her adoptive parents to Weston, Vermont. And I had wanted somewhere with kind of like mountains, trees, basically total opposite of the beach and everything she was used to. And I wanted a smaller town because I feel like you can make things more realistic with plot lines. Like, you can't have super mysterious things happening in a big city without people noticing. You need some space. You need to be kind of on the outskirts of a smaller town.
Everyone needs to be able to breathe a little bit.
Yes, exactly. And so then I started looking at pictures of it, and Weston is just this beautiful town with, and Vermont in the fall, it's got all the leaves. It's just really pretty. So that was my inspiration for, the total opposite effect in beach versus mountains and forest.
So Summer York is your protagonist. Who are some of the other characters that readers might be interested in knowing about?
So the Were-Fae are basically they're not people, but they're people in this case. They're who she teams up with, and they help her learn more about herself. She learns about them. So one of my favorite characters is Charlotte. She is just feisty and confident in herself, and she is very determined, but then once you get to know her more, you kind of see her vulnerability, and that she does care, even though sometimes she doesn't try to let anything bother her. And then Dimitri North is Summer's love interest in the book. He is another Were-Fae. So all fairies get in my stories, of course, get their powers from like different types of natural elements. So Charlotte is her fairy part of her is from like the stars and the sky and things like that.
Interesting.
Dimitri's is dark, so like shadows, clouds, things like that. So he's kind of got this darker personality, and so Summer really gets to kind of brighten him up. Literally, Summer bright, kind of. It made sense in my mind, but he's just this kind of brooding, mysterious character who also you get to know him, and he has a lot more to him as well.
Yeah, so every author has their favorite character, and of course this is your first book, so you have a few characters in there, but have you picked a favorite character, or are they all your favorites?
I think that Charlotte is my favorite, and the reason being my different stories are in different points of view. So this one's from Summer's point of view. My sequel is from Charlotte's point of view, and that's my favorite book that I've written. So hopefully it works to get it published so that I can share that story. But I also, since I wrote this in high school, I feel like I see a lot of my younger self in the way that Summer talks, thinks, acts. Whereas with Charlotte, I wrote the sequel when I was a little bit older and had kind of been through some more things. And so I feel like I relate to Charlotte more, especially in the second book, than I do with Summer now. Yeah. But I still love Summer for who she was and how it kind of represents me growing up a little bit as well with this story. So it's very cool. But yeah, Charlotte probably.
So, and then you went through, I was reading up on the publishing company. It's out of England. Yes. Was that just kind of they were the first ones to reach out to you, or what was that process like?
So I spent about 2 years writing, 2 years editing, and then a year and a half on the publishing process. But kind of towards the end of the editing, I started thinking, okay, this could be a real thing. And so I started reaching out to other publishers, but you can't do that necessarily if you're just a lone author by yourself. You have to have an agent. Yep. So first I tried agents, and I wasn't really getting anybody picking it up. And then I tried with other publishers, and I kind of the same thing, wasn't really getting anything. And so Pegasus was kind of like a last ditch effort, you know. And I actually, the day before I heard back from them, I uploaded my whole book onto Wattpad. You know, the people do like fan fictions and stuff on there, because I had seen, you know, sometimes people get deals for like Netflix shows or things like that from Wattpad. And
maybe Summer could be a Netflix show.
Yes, exactly. At that point, I was like, okay, whatever. And then the next day, I saw the email from them, and I was immediately like, oh my gosh, I got to go take this down. But luckily, it had gotten no views. So.
Well, that's good. That's
good. So, but then they've helped me so much. They have a publicity team. They have cover artists that helped me with the cover. And
well, that's good.
Yeah, it's just, I feel like I couldn't have done this by self-publishing. I mean, I could have, but it would have taken a lot more time.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it wouldn't be this good, and everything wouldn't be so cohesive. So they're awesome. I really like them a lot.
So it comes out next Thursday for the masses of the people in the area that want to get the book. Where do they go?
You can get it on Amazon. It's also on Barnes & Noble now. If anybody is British watching this, it's at Waterstones, which is basically the Barnes & Noble of England. And I mean, I did the cheesy thing that I feel like all first-time people in the public light do, and I Googled myself, and they even have it, I mean, at small bookstores. Like, there's lots of places that have it now, but since most everybody has Amazon, Amazon's probably the easiest way to get it right now.
Well, so you already got the sequel ready to go, and the prequel.
Yep, and the prequel. Yeah, I feel like as I wrote more characters into the book, I always feel like every character deserves their own story. And in order for me to make a character, even a side character, I have to have some kind of a, where are they coming from in this type of background. There are no side characters that are just like, well, that's just an extra. Everybody has their own
purpose.
Yes, and so I feel like I probably could keep spinning off this stuff forever, but I probably won't. I have other things that I want to write as well, but yeah.
So once, however long the fairy tale series goes, what are some other ideas you want to pursue in writing?
Yeah, so I have one right now that I am working on editing. It's kind of like an action thriller romance where it's someone in witness protection program.
Interesting.
So that is a very interesting one that I've been working on. I would love to write a murder mystery. I've had an idea for one for probably 5 years now. Yeah. But every time I sit down to write it, I swear I scare myself because it's like, oh my gosh, this is so intense. And then I start sleeping with the lamp on, and I'm like checking over my shoulder when I'm walking my car. It's just but I want to at some point, because I know that it's a good idea, and I have a plot twist already that's just, I know is just going to be crazy, but I have to just, buck up and do it, I guess.
That happened to me when I tried to write a murder mystery too, so I think that just goes with the territory.
Yeah.
So, Fairy Tale, it comes out March 27th, available on Amazon. Yes. I guess before we go, long family of Aggies, so what did A&M mean to you and getting, in your process of getting this book published?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, I was a health major, so not really writing oriented, you would think. Yeah. But I actually had to do a ton of writing, and especially towards my senior year, there were research projects, and I did a grant writing class. And so I feel like even though I wasn't doing journalism or anything like that, like all of my professors that I had really helped helped me to tap into new levels of my writing and advance my skills, which helped with the editing, helped me with the sequels and the prequels and all that. And also I wrote a lot in the flag room at the MSC. So,
wow.
So that's something too.
Probably not the first that's done that, and probably won't be the last.
Yep.
Well, thanks everybody for watching, and we'll see you again next time.